All right, last segment. Yeah, skip the segment because the first one went on too long. Sorry, cover it next week. So, I have a question. Why is it cheaper to break the law than it is to abide by it?
Context.
Context. So, saw this post on LinkedIn. Yeah, let me just read this out, the whole thing, because makes for good reading, doesn't it? Let me just get it out. All right, so guy on LinkedIn post. Yeah, he says, I ended up yesterday driving my electric car to London from Bristol. A full charge cost me £11 at home. I paid £8 for parking. That's £19 back and forth from London to Bristol. Okay, it's at 2.5 hours door to door each way. So that's 5 hours of your day. Yeah, an off-peak return train with Great Western Railways costs around £140 as a minimum and is 1.5 hours station to station. So he could effectively drive back and forth to London, park for a full day 7 times for the price of one train ticket. And he could even drive to London, park his car illegally, hence the break-in law part, in an ambulance bay right outside his office, pay a hefty fine. It would still be cheaper than getting a train ticket. Basically, why is public transport so expensive and yet it's kind of shit compared to other countries? Like, I went to Amsterdam recently. Their public transport is pristine and it's affordable.
When you
Really
say pristine,
affordable.
you mean aesthetically, or what do you mean?
Aesthetically, visually, inside is clean. There's nothing dirty. Like, you know how on the tube you can puff the seats and it's dirty. You sit on those seats. There's no puffing going on. It's just.
I guess I don't
clean.
use it as often as you. So to me, the tube is like really clean compared to like New York, where it's disgusting. The metro is dirty, man. But I guess you use it every day. So that's a different perspective from your point of view.
There's tubes, but also like going on like a normal train, whether it's domestically in the UK. Some of them are just super horrible to be on. They don't look great. They're really slow. They're like a generation behind, and they hike up the fares year on year. So yeah, it doesn't seem like it's the most effective way of doing things.
Zero incentive, isn't it? I think that's
incentive for what?
Transport, like, you want to reduce people using cars and have more sharing and all this blah 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 congestion. Then you've got to make it more affordable, make it more accessible, make people want to do it for a reason.
Yeah,
makes no sense at all.
Exactly. You would rather park in an ambulance bay, right, in your illegally parked car, and take the fine than get on a train that is probably not got a functioning toilet. Probably going to be crammed in. You're not going to get a seat at that time of the morning. Being honest, you'll be struggling for any sort of comfort.
I love how extreme the analogy is, but it just makes the point, doesn't it?
Yeah, it makes the point. And then you've obviously got the rail strikes happening, and you can see why, because all these price hikes that are going on year, when you start paying more and more for your rail card or your monthly travel card, whichever it is, and the service level just doesn't really improve. Yeah, maybe, but the the maintenance level doesn't improve. It just seems just as bad. So where's that money going really? It seems like it's just being banked or going to other people, not the actual service and improving the service and making it better. Imagine what the UK could be if they did.
What I did like about the story is real numbers in terms of the actual charge and how many it costs him. I'm thinking about that electric kind of idea now. And next time I'm like, what's the practicalities of it? Like, is it going to save much money? I was talking to a guy yesterday. What day is today? Wednesday. Yeah, yesterday I went to was at someone's house, and there was a guy who used to work at Eon, and he was telling me about we have solar panels, about charging a battery in a house, then you using that battery to power our stuff. And he was like, it's no brainer, man. He's like, you should definitely do it. With these yikes and spikes that are going up with the energy bills. Like, he goes, whatever you're selling back to the grid is peanuts, man. And I know that, like, the quarterly payments we get are tiny. Doesn't break the bank.
No, it's true. Like, I've seen my parents' house, they sell it for like 0.15 per something, and then they buy it for 0.31. So like, hang on, we're selling it to you for half price, and you're bumping us.
Makes no sense. I'd rather offset what we're using. It does that anyway, so it only sells the excess. So it uses first towards our house, which is good. But now we could do that. Whatever
Yeah,
it gives us,
yeah,
really gives. Don't care about that. But then you could charge the rest in a battery and then start using that. So that's probably my next project to look into.
yeah. So if you have like a generator, that's probably a better investment to store your energy in and use that.
Exactly. Like now at nighttime, it could all be operated from that rather than the grid.
From that solar power
Yeah,
you
yeah.
banked in the day. Imagine how much
Yeah,
cheaper your life
exactly,
would be.
exactly. So that's definitely something to look into.
Even with the cost of electricity going up at the moment, it's probably still cheaper to go electric than it is to stick to oil in the long term.
Yeah, I mean,
Unless the price cap keeps going up and up, in which case it might level out. Who knows?
man, there's a new headline every single day. January's at £4,000 an hour, and I see the headline. I'm like, what does it mean for £4,000 for the year? Is that £4,000 for the month? If it's for the month, and
It's
you
£4,000
think what
a
you think,
year.
I
A
think
year.
about you again.
So
Like, it makes no sense.
thanks. It goes from like 1,800 to like I see all these numbers thrown around. I'm like, okay, just give me a percentage increase, and I think the percentage increase is what kills it. So it's like it's going up by like 40 odd percent.
Benefit
And I'm like,
that's
okay,
a lot, man.
that's a lot.
40% is 50%. That's a lot.
That's a lot
of money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And there's a movement now where people are saying, let's not pay our heating bills and our electricity bills. Let's just cancel our direct debit. But then everyone's saying, no, don't do that because they'll send the debt collectors after you. You're better off keeping your direct debit in place, refusing payment, and then when that goes through, you can then make a complaint to them and you can say this is too expensive. They might give you a little bit of a price haggle. Don't accept it. Put a complaint in. Then go to the energy ombudsman. And then when you go to the energy ombudsman, if a energy company has too many complaints outstanding with the energy ombudsman, they pay a fine. And each time it gets processed, they also have to pay a fine for each complaint published. So what that does is it essentially puts more pressure back on them. That's probably a better way of trying to put pressure on them, but it would require like thousands of people to do so. It's not a very commonly known thing. I saw it on Twitter the other day and I was like, that sounds rational.
Needs to be organized.
But it seems like a lot of work.
Some sort of organization there.
Yeah.
Like doing a strike, isn't it? Essentially.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. That's probably the better way of not paying your bill than saying flat out, I'm not going to pay it, which is just going to work out badly for you. You'll have the debt collectors running no time.
One other person to them, they're not going to care. Unless you're a collective, you're a mass collective.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. There we go.
There we go.